So let me, while I have Dr. Martha Rogers here, I'd like a reality check. I hear over and over again about that the most influential group are the mommy bloggers. A, is it true? We're both mommies. I don't know. I can't imagine what life would have been like if I could have blogged back then.
When the kids were really small,
yes,
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But are they as influential as their buzz has allowed? And I think they are, but you're the guru.
Well, I just think the bloggers are influential because the fact of the matter is, and some of course more influential than others. You don't have to look very far before you see that the super users and the blogs are the ones who create all the conversations, and then there's some people who sort of, let's say the 1% of the super users, another 10% engage in conversation. 90% really don't do anything more than listen, but they still enjoy being at the party. The fact of the matter is that you've got millions and millions of people in a room. If you're a company, you're an idiot if you don't go to that room. So who are the 1%? Gosh, it's important to know. Is it the mommy bloggers? Then let's figure that out. But yes, the point is that the super users, the ones who speak out, and the ones whom other people listen to, they have enormous power. So whether they're mommies or whether they're somebody else, you know, we read a study from the Wall Street Journal that looked at a guy who had millions of page views on Reddit.com. I think it was Reddit, maybe it was dig.com, but Wall Street Journal said, gosh, this guy is reviewing Microsoft products and people are deciding whether to buy it. They're all coming and looking at his site. He's hugely influential. Let's go find out who he is. And it turned out that his name was Adam Feurer, and he's 12 years old and he attends an elementary school in Toronto, Canada. Who knew? So, so whether it's a mommy blogger or Adam Feurer or whoever it is, some of these people have enormous power. And understanding what kind of experiences we're creating for a bunch of people, some of whom will have a lot to say and a lot of people will listen, is important.
Well, and companies and brand managers have so much more to really look out for these days. And you were talking about super users, so that's on the customer side, but on the business side, what are the innovations that are new, and have any of them surprised you recently? What are something that you said, wow, that's enormously intelligent?
Well, you know, it's interesting because when I look at innovation, I think it's very important, of course, to have cutting-edge products, but it doesn't matter how cool and neat your products are, because pretty soon, if it is cool and neat and makes money, then somebody's going to copy it, and it's going to be commodity again pretty soon. So we think innovation of products is important, but it's not going to save us. The innovation that's really going to save us is our ability to think very differently and be willing to completely upend a business model. So think about what real estate looked like 10 years ago and what it looks like now. Think about what, I mean, the list just goes on and on. Think about what Netflix did to traditional, video rentals and that sort of thing. It was a completely different business model, and that was the innovation that changed everything. So I'm waiting. I mean, we should just lock ourselves in this room until we figure out how to put credit cards as we now know them out of business, because it will happen. And when somebody figures out how to make portable money, give it another way of operating from the way that it does currently. So I think that really is how we really are looking at things. And it's interesting because when you look at Amazon, I mean, they've just done such an incredible job of so many things and doing it in a way that works for so many people. And then even Amazon has moments where they go, where you can't believe what's happening. But I went there to give a party, and it turns out you can only have 99 things in your cart. So if you have to buy 36 of something, and then you need 36 of something else, and then you need 36 of something else, guess what? Your limit. And if you want a fourth thing for everybody, you have to close out and then go shop again. And after a while, I'm thinking maybe I should just go over to the party store. And and so I think it's very difficult for even the best of breed to keep all this stuff in mind simultaneously. And try to, figure out from the customer's point of view, what's this like, what's this like, what's this like for this customer, and then for this customer, and this one, and keep it all straight and get it all right. So those are the innovations that are really going to make the biggest difference, not just in new colors on our phones and that sort of thing. The estimate now, by the way, is that if you got one of the first cell phones, if you were an innovator, a new user, as a cell phone user and you were one of the first adopters,
Yes.
that you're probably on your 40th phone.
40th?
40th? I know, it's staggering to think about
It is,
that.
it's amazing, but you know, everybody's still trying to figure things out, and it's so exciting to think about what it might be, and we can't
Yeah.
fathom what it is. But
Yeah.
so you talked about the customer, you talked about the marketers themselves. What about the employees? You're sort of your internal ambassadors that are right next to you every day. How are companies utilizing and engaging employees?
Well, you know, I think that's an excellent question too, because you look at some companies and they claim that they're really great and we're trustable and we have great products and all that sort of stuff, but then you talk to their employees and their employees are not so sure. And they ask their employees to do things that the employees feel kind of squeamish about. So, you know, at some, I won't name a name, but at some of the
please
bigger,
do not.
at some of the bigger companies, you know, the employees are asked to do things that they're not that happy with, and as a result, they kind of wonder, well, what is the company doing in terms of me if I'm asked to do this with customers, and then customers question that, and what do I say? And you know, it's tough. So I think that the way that when we see companies that have achieved deep engagement with their own employees, that you have companies that are much further ahead in their quest to engage customers, and that if employees trust a company, that it's much more likely that customers are going to trust that company and be engaged with them. So Hewlett-Packard, for example, has a bunch of retirees who are not paid a penny and who go around giving lectures on and helping at schools and doing other kinds of things
Such a
to help
idea.
to help with the adoption process of Hewlett-Packard stuff. Now, I guess you could say they're being paid in the sense that they have a little Hewlett-Packard stock from the days that they worked there, but that's, yeah, gosh, let's see, work on Saturdays, do all this stuff, help out, build the brand, build the company, help the customers, pay $0. So when you have that kind of thing and you've built that within a company, then you've really engaged those employees in a way that will build brand value, but it will build the long-term value of the customer base.
That's great, and it's really hitting a 360-degree sweet spot there.
Yes,
so that's good.
absolutely.
So, any final parting words to us, or about customer-centric activities, or anything that you think? What's really the most important takeaways for everybody?
You know, I
these
think
days?
that if there's one thing that I would suggest to everyone, it's to make sure that as anybody having to do with customers, which we like to think of as marketers and customer service and those kinds of people, although it should be product development and everybody within the organization, that we want to make sure that we're not only being accountable for the marketing dollars that we use, we want to be sure that we're accountable for the way we build relationships with customers and build the equity of that customer base. And that every time we lose a customer or every time we diminish that customer value in any way, even for the future, that we're not doing our job right and we're not being accountable. So we should be using not just a return on investment or return on marketing investment measure, but indeed a return on customer measure, and making sure that we're creating value for every one of the customers that we have to use.
Well, Dr. Martha Rogers from Peppers & Rogers,
Thank
you so much for joining us on this edition of CinemaDMA. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.